Hi, welcome to the podcast, Beyond the Ballot, a Lone Wolf production. This is where we showcase local politics by providing a platform for elected officials and candidates. First, I would like to provide a caveat. The team of Beyond the Ballot, including myself, do not support or endorse the guest in any form. I'm proud to introduce the guest for today's show, Larry Burke, candidate for Putnam County Sheriff. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. So let's break the ice with a few lighthearted questions.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about your personal background. How long have you lived in Putnam County? And what do you think makes this area so special?
Pretty much myself and my wonderful wife, I have to say, right off the bat, we moved out to Putnam County about 21 years ago. We looked at the county. We looked at different spots to purchase a house. And I knew about Putnam County. I'd come up here on vacation, on hiking and stuff like that in the past. And we just fell in love with it. It's just a beautiful, beautiful county. Even now you look at it driving over here, the leaves are all changing and the winding roads. And it's just a really, really beautiful site. Where actually you have community. You have neighbors that look out for each other, that take pride in their communities where they live. And that's really one of the big things.
Who were your mentors or role models in your life that have made a difference?
Well, I'd have to say right off the bat would be my parents, specifically my mom. My mom taught me about how hard work was and how she did it and how she gave to her family. Coming up from Hell's Kitchen down in Manhattan, they moved up to Upper Manhattan, and that was a big move up for them. Again, times were hard for everybody. Bills, trying to paying your bills and raise a family, and working two jobs. That was pretty much her work ethic and teaching me how to take care of others around you and give back. And really, that was probably my first mentor, really, with everything.
Did you have a big family, a lot of siblings?
No, I have two older sisters, so I'm the baby, and I take a lot of rep for that from my sisters. That I got everything and they got nothing, so that's a good one. But yeah, so we lived in a one-bedroom apartment. We shared a bedroom, all of us, until they all got older, and as soon as they hit 18, they moved out, and then I had my own room finally. So it was pretty good. And one of the most important things in the beginning of my life, and now especially, is my faith. Definitely got me through a lot of tough situations. And being in law enforcement and for as long as I have been, I've seen a lot of bad stuff. So my faith is extremely important to me, and it grounds me to who I am and what I bring to the job and to life in general. I had the honor to meet Timothy Dolan at my church, and he's very, very inspirational, very, very jovial man, and he gave me some really good words of advice as I'm going forward in my career. I'd have to say another mentor professionally would be some of the supervisors I work with in the NYPD, the sergeants and lieutenants that I worked under. They pretty much taught me the craft and told me what I needed to do. I'd like to definitely mention James O'Neill, who was a police commissioner. He actually taught me in the academy coming through when he was, I believe he was just a sergeant at the time. And he's really taught me how to give back to the community and what you need to do. And really what policing was all about, and to lead from the front. And I can really appreciate his friendship.
And lastly, is there anything about yourself that people might not know or might find interesting?
Just outside of working and giving back, it just sometimes just taking time to relax and enjoy the day. Putnam County, in the morning when you see the sun come up, or at night when you see the sun go down, especially where I live over in Phillipstown on the Hudson River, it's one of the most beautiful things to see, and it kind of brings you back to reality from all the the hustle and the bustle that you're doing. I enjoy watching a good Yankee game. I enjoy watching a good Ranger game and the Giant game. I seem that all goes together, and being around the firehouse, the guys that I'm also a volunteer firefighter for the last 13 years in North Highland. So being around the firehouse and helping out and doing that's kind of what I do.
Okay, so let's get down to business.
Yes.
Please tell us about your professional experience, specifically your career in law enforcement.
So in the community policing that I did was in one of the most impoverished areas in the 4 precinct, unserved areas, and dealt with a lot of the issues that they had, learning the different ethnicities that are there, getting to know them, getting to know the business owners, getting to know the families, and what they go through on a day-to-day basis, to have trust, to walk. They see you walking every day. They see you come into the stores to get a cup of coffee. They see you, looking out for them. And then eventually, as you gain reputation and you gain gain a positive attitude with the neighborhood, they'll come to you with problems. They'll come to you and say, hey, this guy's doing this or this guy's doing that. And it was a very, very bad area with drugs. There was back in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, the drug epidemic was crazy between crack and that going on. So getting the people behind you and letting them know that you care and let you know you're out there, and really doing the job that you needed to do. So that was one of the first things started off when I went through the NYPD. Then eventually I got promoted to the Detective Bureau, where I was in major case narcotics, where I actually got to go after the drug cartels, the ones who are actually bringing in the large shipments into the city, specifically through the Bronx and Manhattan. And that was a great experience for me, because it just took me to that extra level of doing that, running federal cases, going down to Southern District to really give back and really get at the heart of it, not just the local drug dealer on the corner. It was more like starting where the supplies came in from. After Detective Bureau Major Case Squad, I retired after 26 years in the NYPD. Took about 2 months off. Then I joined the Cold Spring Police Department. I also joined the North Highland Firehouse to give back again to the community, because that's what I'm really all about. With the Cold Spring, I started on patrol there. And after a few years of, again, getting out, walking around, talking to the store owners and the residents and the people, and actually getting into Haldane and dealing with the school, with the grammar school and the high school, which I loved, and the kids got to see who I was and see who the officer in uniform, and very comfortable with us being there. I became the commanding officer. And with that, I took the community policing unit that I learned from the NYPD. I changed it, made it my own for the small village of Cold Spring, and I had the officers get out of the car. I had them out walking on the street, letting people know them, seeing a face, seeing a name, not just a badge number. And that's where I gained my reputation for turning the Cold Spring Police Department around. I also got grant monies for being the first part-time, full-time police department to wear body cams. So, which is very, very important, I feel. So it shows transparency to the residents and for law enforcement, for safety and for transparency, that they have the body cams. So I got that through grant money, which was great, because my budget in Cold Spring was very, very small. Every single dollar counted, no matter what it was that I needed to get. The mayor always told me we don't have it in the budget. So I had to get my top priority first. I had to research out to get grants, to get monies where I could. I also got money from the asset forfeiture from the DA's office, where I was able to upgrade the laptops in the cars, and I was up to upgrade the computer system. So that was one of the big things that I really, really tried hard with and achieved. And you
did that through forging different relationships with people, making connections?
Yep. Absolutely. I've reached out to Homeland Security on occasion. I reached out to any place I can go to get grant money or federal money to upgrade the police department. And it was hard. Again, they always told you, yep, you're on the part-time police department. I'm like, no, we're not. We work 365, 24/7. So again, batted down a lot of doors. I made some success. I had some, people tell me no. But at the end of the day, I feel very confident. I brought the department back, around.
In all your years of experience, have you become proficient in any other language besides English?
No, I do have some, what I'm going to call Bronx Spanish. It's just to get by and pretty much name, address, the best I can.
Okay. I was just curious about that from your experience.
Yeah. No, if I would try to use that anywhere else, people are like, that's not Spanish. And I get it.
So you're running on the independent line with the party name Serve and Protect, correct?
Yes, correct.
Can you tell us a little about that process and how it came into fruition?
Yes. About 2.5 years ago, I decided that being, again, in charge in Cold Spring and being on patrol, which I still was, next to the deputy sheriffs, I looked at them, I was listening to them, and they were really, the morale wasn't really good. And that was the past administration. They were telling me how bad it was, and now going to work, they were very depressed, and it wasn't a good scene. And also with the past administration, being in charge of Cold Spring, I had some meetings with the former sheriff and other chiefs. So Chief of Carmel, Chief of Kent, Chief of Brewster, and myself. And I just saw that it was a bad scene. We all had gotten together up to that point. I could call on Tony Hoffman. I could call on Kevin Owens for something. Hey, I need some advice on this. What do you guys do for this? What do you guys do for that? And they were very, very friendly, and it was great. It was a great working relationship, which Putnam County should be. We have other departments in here. We all should be working together. In the past administration, it all of a sudden was not that. Everybody was being broken off. All of a sudden, it was not that cohesiveness. So I decided that I wanted to run. And with that, again, 2.5 years ago, in the beginning of looking at everything, doing my research, doing my homework, I decided to run on an independent line. Basically, you had a Republican who was an incumbent, and I was not going to primary the incumbent. And I feel that the sheriff's office should be apolitical. It's bad enough you watch the politicians running around trying to gain support from everybody. When at the end of the day, when you're in law enforcement, you have to serve everybody, not just one party. You have to serve everybody equally.
So you had been a former Republican.
Correct.
Okay. For many years.
Yep, 38. To be honest, with 38 years. When you first join up when you're 18 and you're able to vote, you pick a party. I had picked a party. And again, over my vast 40 years of voting, I voted for all different people. It wasn't just specifically Republican. I voted for different ones, different Democrats, Republican in my years.
Have you been hearing a lot of support from the Democratic side, running as an independent?
I've got support from everybody, to be honest with you. At the very beginning, when I decided to run, I was questioned by parties. Why don't you join us? Why don't you join us? We could do it. And I feel that my be true to myself, that the sheriff's office and being the head of the sheriff's office, you need to be apolitical. Because I feel if you turn around and you go to a specific party, and I'm not bad-mouthing any party whatsoever, but if you go with one specific party, whether it be Republican and Democrat, because those are really the only two we have right now, and then you have your unaffiliated. If you go one party to the other, it looks like you owe somebody. And I'll be honest with that, because you're using all their people. They're running around to get you there. They're doing this. They're getting your name out there, and they're putting your signs up and doing all that stuff. I felt that I needed to be specifically right down the line independent, and I was gaining people from all parties. I've had Democrats get signatures for me. I've had Republicans get signatures for me, and I had no unaffiliated. I ran out, and let me tell you, and it was not easy. I ran out, and I got almost 2,100 signatures with a little bit of help, and I got a third of that on my own. I knocked on so many doors across this county, and that part I loved, because you knock on the door, you meet people, you actually look them in the eye, they see who you are, and you're asking them for your signature. So they're letting you into their lives for, would it be 1 minute or 10 minutes? That was the best thing that ever could happen for me for running. First time running for anything. That was a great experience, and I take that to heart, and I will take and I take that going forward. And they always ask me, first question, what party are you on? Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm running on the independent line, and they said, excellent.
Why do you think you keep seeing all these new party lines being created, though? What is the thought behind doing this? Do you think it's an effective way to go about it?
I think it gives people choice. If you look right now, let's be honest, the political scene is a mess. I mean, if you're one party or the other, this party hates you, they hate, it's them and us, them and us. We're all Americans. I mean, to just try to run and be the best, thinking that you do the best job that you can, that's what you want to do. And you want to reach people. You don't want to reach, the different parties and infighting and the things that are going on that I've seen in the past year alone. Again, I'm a novice. This first time I'm running for anything. And when you look at it and you look, well, you have to do this and you have to do that. And I'm like, no, I need to represent the people of the county. And that's what I'm looking to do. And it's really getting really, really ugly. We need to bring people together, not separate us. And no matter what you go to, if they see you at one event or they see you at a different event, they're like, oh, well, you're that and you're that. No, you're going there to support whatever you're at. And I'm going to give you a quick example. I just had a fundraiser a couple of weeks ago, and I had a very good friend of mine and a neighbor that came to my event. And because that person supported me, they didn't give a speech, they didn't give anything, they took a picture with me. That person was asked to resign from the party. Why? Because they came to support me, because they know me and they know what I'm about, and they lived in the village. How is that? How is that fair? Number one, and number two, those are the reasons people are starting to leave some of the parties. There should be other choices. It just shouldn't be Democrat or Republican. In my belief, there should be an independent line where people can run, because you want people to come off the sideline. You want people to know that they can come in and there's another choice. There are so many people that are sitting on the sideline that don't want to get into politics because what's going on, that ugliness.
Yeah. It seems like everything's on the table.
Yeah.
One of your major campaign planks you're running on is strategic spending. You talked a little bit about how you were able to achieve grant money. Could you explain more about how you would achieve this initiative?
Yeah, I will definitely give credit where credit is due. The former sheriff, Kevin McConville, again, I think he did a great job managing the department. He brought stability to the budget and to the sheriff's office. He also got accredited, and that's a great thing to be, is accredited. I was in a department that got accredited in New York City, and it opens you up to that much more grant money, Homeland Security money, which will not be a cost to the taxpayer. So once you have that, you can bring in more equipment, more services without, again, raising taxes. We all live in this county. This county is getting crazy with taxes. We're all struggling to pay our taxes. So if you can do that and be fiscal responsible, that's what I'm all about. So I started in a small budget in Cold Spring, so I know how to stretch a dollar. In my private sector that I work, I'm the assistant security director for Turner Construction. We have a very large budget. So I understand corporate world and I understand civil service. So with those two, with the experience on both, I know I can do a great job fiscally and be responsible for every single taxpayer dollar.
The obvious commitment that you're pledging for your candidacy is community safety, which is rooted in the name of your party line, Serve and Protect. Could you tell us about community policing? I know you touched a little bit about that from the NYPD and how it would translate for the county of Putnam.
Yeah, going around the county as much as I have in the past 4 months, you listen to the people, you listen to what their concerns are, and there's a lot of the areas that don't have policing, that don't have their own police department. They just say, hey, I see the Putnam County Sheriff's car drive by, and once every couple of days, and I feel disconnected. They feel underserved. So basically, what my example is going to be is take my version from Cold Spring. Not so much get out of the car, because there are places that are so vast that you can't get out of the car every day and go meet everybody, but go to the town hall meetings. I'll have one deputy assigned to each zone and to each town. They can go to the community meetings, the monthly meetings that they have. They can go to the town board meetings, present themselves. Hey, I'm here. I'm Officer so-and-so. They'll have a name and a face. That's my biggest thing, name and a face. People want to be heard. They want to look you in the eye, and they want to talk to you about their issues and their problems. So if they have a direct deputy sheriff or deputy being there, that listens to their problems, that have a phone number they can call directly, not answer an email, not we'll get back to you later. That's the key to the community policing part. And also what I've learned, besides the one in the city and besides in Cold Spring, when you're walking around, people will come to you with issues and problems and things that they see. That brings more information to you. That gives you more knowledge on things going on in your area. So it actually will prevent crimes in that sense, because you already know what's going on in the communities that you serve, because you're there every day. You know it, and the people come to you and give you give you the advice and give you some information.
I'm new to the area, so
Sure.
Which areas don't have police departments?
You have Putt Valley, you have Garrison, you have Continental Village. Am I missing any? Patterson? I think that's it. Excuse me if I missed one. I apologize.
So traditionally, community policing is executed in city settings like New York City, in which the police form a very strong relationship with community members, like an open door policy, if you will. The prevalent crimes in the county of Putnam are usually domestic violent cases, DWIs, and mental illness related incidences. Do you feel that community policing would in fact reduce the crimes here?
No, absolutely, and you're absolutely right with the underreporting of domestic violence. Again, you see it in small areas. I've seen it in Cold Spring. You see it in the small neighborhoods that you're in, wherever you may be. That domestic violence is a big issue in the county. So is DWI, so is self-medication, and so is mental illness. With the county being the way it is, services there are not a lot of services out there for people to go get help. One of my main policies, what I want to bring when I become sheriff come January 1st, is I want to start a domestic violence unit. I want to have specific investigators that do the domestic violence cases, and not just the 911 calls. I want to do repeat follow-ups, welfare checks. Hey, this is investigator so-and-so. How are you doing? What's going on? Do you have the services you need? If not, maybe we can get you to the right places that you need, any services that you do need. You don't see that. You don't see that quite that often.
Usually they slip through the cracks.
Yes, absolutely. Right? And that affects everybody. That affects, if you're looking at domestic violence, and especially in areas, it affects the family, affects the kids. They bring that to the schools. And that's the greatest thing about having the SRO program. I work very, very closely with Haldane SRO, and we talk constantly. Hey, this student is having issues. We can tell because they're not acting the same as they do. You might just give you a little information, a heads up. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Then you have that. If you go to that address now that you know where the family's from, you already have knowledge on what might be going on behind those closed doors. So that's the community policing, and that's the connection also that you have with the issues that we're facing today. And you look at it, the DWIs are another big one that, again, it's not falling through the cracks, but it's a vast county. So you have a lot of people out there that are self-medicating with alcohol or with other drugs that that they're probably under some stress, and those are the issues that we got to look at. And again, it's really, really hard to attack everything, and I don't want to say it that way, but with the community policing that I want to put in effect, I think it will prevent some of those incidents.
So being proactive.
Oh, 100%. You can't be reactive. You're behind the game then. You have to lead. You have to lead from the front. You can't just sit back and wait for something to happen. And absolutely not.
Absolutely. I had asked your opponent during his interview what endorsements he had received. More recently, he has acquired endorsements from all the unions from the Westchester County State Troopers, the NYPD Police Benevolent Association, the NYPD Detectives Endowment Association, and the Putnam County Sheriff's Office. Do you think these endorsements traditionally are granted to only major party lines?
Absolutely. I've been in the NYPD. I was in the PBA. I was in the Detectives Endowment Association my whole career. Half in the PBA and half in the detective. I didn't seek out their endorsements. This is Putnam County. This is where we are. Seeking endorsements again. The acting sheriff is there for 6 weeks, so they're endorsing somebody that's been there for 6 weeks. The only endorsement I'm looking for, come November 4th, is a residence of Putnam County.
Yesterday, another kind of a contentious point. Yesterday, on October 18th, there were numerous No Kings protests that took place throughout the country. According to ABC News, the No Kings protests are essentially a response to what they call abuse of power by President Trump and his administration, including his illegal immigration crackdown and his sending troops into American cities. I have a two-pronged question about this reference. First, in regard to the illegal immigration crackdown, how would you receive ICE? Would you cooperate with enforcement in operations?
It's a very good question because that's what I'm getting all over. I've been walking around the county and driving around the county. With the ICE question, it's a very, very emotional one. And again, the federal government's the federal government. If they have the proper paperwork, if they have the proper arrest warrants and hold detention holders, that I would look at that and make sure that that's legit on that. That's all I would look for at that point to make sure they're coming into the community, that they have the proper paperwork, the proper things signed. Would I take the deputies and have them hand in hand doing enforcement with them? No, that's not what we do. And the federal government has enough agents to begin with that they'll do their own thing. What I would like them to do, I'd like to work with them. I'd like to coordinate with them if they would let the local law enforcement come in and say, hey, listen, we're going to be in the area this week or these next 2 weeks. We're looking for specific suspects that we're looking at. I would turn around and be like, okay, I would make sure if they're in that area when they're there, I would assign deputies to be around in that area to protect the residents of Putnam County.
And usually the suspects have a criminal background.
Usually, yes, and we're all for it. I'm a law and order guy. If they have a criminal background and they have an arrest warrant or whatever, 100%, they have to do what they got to do, straight up. But again, if you look around the county, some of the areas I've been in, they have asked me the same question you asked me, and they're very afraid. They're very afraid that the kids can't come out of their houses. They don't want to play in the street. They see cars that drive by with Again, everybody says that, the agents have masks on and all it says is ICE. It doesn't have a name like we usually have in law enforcement. We have to gain the trust of the residents because right now, again, the emotions are high for everybody.
Right. Some people could be traumatized.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they get traumatized, if you think about it, young children get traumatized, that's going to be generational because that's going to grow down to the next generation, because that's what they see. So we want to definitely try to avoid that.
So the second question is, it is public knowledge that you ran the security detail as a consultant for the No Kings protest in Brewster yesterday. Why do you think it was important to offer your expertise?
I was approached a couple of weeks ago by the coordinators of the event, and they asked if I can give my professional assessment of the of the event, which I did. I didn't run a security detail. I was there just to assess the exits and entrances and the safety of the people that were going to be there. Also, because I have a good working relationship with the Brewster Police Department, being the commanding officer in Cold Spring for 7 years. I knew Chief Delgado. I knew I can be a great liaison between the police department and the event coordinators.
I have mentioned on a previous episode with Putnam County Executive Kevin Byrne that Putnam County is the 8th safest county in the country. How did Putnam County achieve this remarkable distinction?
Right off the bat, I got to say the men and women in law enforcement, they're out there every day, 24/7, 365, answering the call. And also Putnam County is a great county. We have families, we raise our families here, and it all kind of works together. But realistically, there's some work to be done. Eighth safest county in the United States. I want to improve the sheriff's office once I walk in there on January 1st. I want to improve it to the best I can and get to number one. And I won't stop trying until I do.
I'd be remiss if I did not mention the late Sheriff Kevin McConville. Respectfully, I have to say I've heard people either praise his tenure or people being more critical of his leadership. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on relationship between the past administration and the deputies?
Again, it was one of the main reasons I ran. That I've listened to them and the morale and stuff that was going on with the sheriff's office. The meetings I've had behind the scenes with the former sheriff. Again, I think Kevin did a great job being fiscally responsible. In my eyes, there's two types of leaders. You have managers and you have leaders. Kevin was a great manager. Again, very fiscally responsible. Gave back from what I've heard, and it's not. I don't quote me on this. Gave back almost over $1 million over the last 3.5 years. Again, great manager, did what he needed to do fiscally. Then you have great leaders. Now, a great leader is somebody who inspires, somebody who brings up people. And I've seen it over the length of my law enforcement career that you need to bring the people up that work for you. The ones that are doing the great jobs, the ones who are out there doing every day, because the struggles that they go through trying to work in law enforcement and raise families, where they live. That's what you really need to do. Leadership brings them up.
Positive reinforcement.
Positive reinforcement. You have, go out there, in my eyes, just the small things to do that. You can bring back, I had in the NYPD, we had like what they call medal day. So if you did an outstanding job, once a year, you bring the officer in, you give them a commendation, you bring their families in, because those are the connections you want. The families want to be connected because it's not just you leaving in the morning, going to work and coming back.
I think acknowledgement goes a long way with people.
100%, and bringing them up, and that's what you're going to get the best out of the people that work for you. So being a leader, I just want to acknowledge their performance and their hard work, and to lift everybody up. That's what you want to do. You want to come to work and know that you're out there doing a good hard day's work and being acknowledged for it.
And feel appreciated.
That's the word I'm looking for. Feeling appreciated. Absolutely.
So before we conclude this episode, are there any other campaign talking points or a final message that you'd like to share?
Absolutely. I'm just going to really talk about myself for a quick minute. I've ran a police department in this county for 7 years. Out of 13, I've been in law enforcement here. I've done budgets. I've done small budgets. I've reached out to community members, and I've already done it here. My opponent has not been here. He has not run a police department, and I'm not taking anything away from him. He was down in Westchester. He ran a real-time crime center. He has not been on patrol in over 8 years. I've been on patrol. I've been out with my officers. I've been on the street. I answer 911 calls. I've backed up the deputy sheriffs for the past 13 years that I've been in law enforcement. So I know how it is to run a police department. And I'm just going to give out one example recently in the last couple of weeks that came to my knowledge, that there was what we call an I-card, where somebody was wanted for just to be ID'd, and it was a vehicle. The vehicle proceeded into Putnam County, and it was over on Route 9 over in Phillipstown. The deputy pulled the vehicle over. There was 3 people in the vehicle. The deputy tried to ID all three individuals in the car. The car took off. The deputy gave chase. Now, mind you, an ID, going back now, the ID was for a larceny from Coles down to Eastchester. That's what it was at. They just wanted the person to be ID'd. So the car takes off. They chased the car into Dutchess County. They went on Route 84, and they had speeds up to 120 miles an hour.
Wow.
So the veteran sergeant that was on duty that day ceased the chase. He said, "Do not chase. Back off." The acting sheriff went on the radio and said, "Continue to chase." So they chased the car into Dutchess County, again, up to 120 miles an hour. The car eventually crashed, went on fire. The three individuals left the vehicle. 2 of them were apprehended right away. A third one ran into the woods. It took them 2 hours to find that person. They emptied out Putnam County deputy sheriffs to go into Dutchess County to find this individual they were looking for. So again, that is a choice that somebody, I believe, that has not led a police department before, because you would not do that. You would not do that. There's been a no chase policy in the sheriff's office in the last couple of administrations, from what my knowledge. You have to look at the crime, and you have to realize how important it is for the crime that they committed to what could happen. And that comes directly from some of the deputies that I spoke to, and that's a major concern. And you have to look at what the crime was, and what it wasn't. And to go up to speeds of 120 miles an hour when we have license plate readers, we have other things we can use to get that car on at a later date. Don't be wrong. I'm not talking about letting everybody go. Again, I'm about law and order. But there are certain crimes that you should not be going up to 120 miles an hour for chasing somebody. It brings, where's the safety in that? Where's the safety of and from what I understood, it was during school dismissal hours in the afternoon. That could have came into a whole worse incident for somebody that was wanted for a theft from a store.
What is your website, Facebook, Instagram account that people can search and learn more about you and your campaign?
You can go to burkeforputnamcountysheriff.com and Burke for Sheriff.
The general election is November 4th. Early voting starts October 25th. There you have it, folks. Larry Burke, the candidate for Putnam County Sheriff, policing without politics, a proven leader with deep local roots. It's been great having you on the show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
If anyone, a business owner or individual, would be interested in sponsoring future episodes, please reach out to us. Also, if you live in Westchester or Putnam County and you would like to come on the show as a guest to discuss any concerns, ideas, or even to promote an upcoming event, we'd love to have you. Thank you for watching the podcast Beyond the Ballot. Like, subscribe, and leave us your comments.